get. And that will be it for today. And that's not what I want. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into the next type of problem, make or buy. I just want to come down here, though, and remind a little bit about the relevant costs are costs that differ between alternatives. So what would the difference be? We're going to do a little something different today, and I'll show you why we do it the way we do it. But anyway, generally speaking, fixed costs aren't relevant. But we're going to talk a little bit today about, I'm going to show you how you, something about it that is, I'm babbling here, but about how to do it. Okay, so make or buy. Now, make or buy is for you're selling goods. Let's say I'm selling, let's say I'm currently making this toy, okay, and we're selling these, so we're making them. Well, it's possible somebody else could make this for us. We buy from them and then sell it on, and we don't manufacture it ourselves. So the question is, do we make this ourselves, or do we have somebody else make this for us, send it to us, and then we sell it to somebody else? So make or buy is, do we make the product or do we buy it from somebody else? So that's a decision, and assuming that the quality and all that is exactly the same, obviously. Okay, I'm going to show you the a good way to do it. It's I should have extra rows in here. Sorry, I'm going to move this down a little bit. Okay, you may want to, I don't know if you have to do that or not, but anyway, so what I'm going to show you, so this is our cost that we currently have. So this would be the make. If we're going to make it, this is what it would look like. And I'll come down here somewhere and say total. Whatever that is. $25 plus 10 plus, this should be 60. I think it's 60,000. Plus 25 plus 25. I think it's 60,000. Okay, so this is what it's costing us to make this thing. Now, one thing that's not going to be relevant is the selling price, because the idea is whatever we're selling this for, whether we make it or somebody else makes it, the market for it's going to be exactly the same, right? I mean, if it's obviously assuming it's the same quality and all that, that this is the selling price is going to be the same whether we make it ourselves or someone else makes it for us. So the selling price, because it's the same either way, is not relevant. It's not going to change. So we're selling these for $5. If someone else makes them for us, we're still going to sell them for $5. Okay, so the selling price will not change on them. So the sales are not going to be relevant in this case because they don't change. Okay, so here's our total cost to make it, 60. Now, another manufacturer is offered to make next year's production of 1,000 units for $50 each. Assume the plant will be idle if the offer is accepted. The factory overhead costs of $8,000 of the factory building would be avoided if the offer were accepted. Okay, so here's what happens if we buy this from somebody else, or someone else will be the ones that are going to be manufacturing it, and we're going to be buying it from them. Okay, this fixed factory overhead, $8,000 to be avoided. Okay, so we can get out of $8,000 of this fixed factory overhead. Oops. I'm just gonna write up here avoided. So if we buy it, our fixed costs are going to go down to, you should know this, 17,000. Okay, if we're not making anything, what would our direct labor be? How much? Yep, zero. These are all going to go to zero. So these would be, you can think about these as avoided costs. I don't want to muddy the water with that, but what am I doing? You said it right and I wrote it wrong. So these will all be zeros. Uh, okay, so we could avoid these variable costs. Variable costs. We don't, if we're not going to make anything, our direct labor is zero. If we're not making anything, we don't need to. The variable part of the overhead, for instance, the electricity to run the machines. We don't need that. And the direct materials, if we're not making anything, there's no reason to have direct materials. All right. Well, there's one more thing we have to consider here, though. And what is that? This right here. Let a manufacturer, I should do this here too. Green. Another manufacturer is offered to make next year's production of 1,000 units for $50 each. Okay, so this is the buy offer. Oops. Okay, we'll make 1,000 units times $50 equals, I know this one, 50,000. Okay, so the total cost if we buy it is going to be 17 plus 50 is 67,000. All right, so do we want to make or buy them? Now remember, these are costs. These are not income. This is cost, money going out the door. Yeah, you're both right. Yep, yep. It costs cheaper to make them. So we're going to want to make these ourselves. I know you guys are thinking when I pull these shapes up, oh no, not the shapes again. Oh, brother. Okay, we want to make them, and why? Oh, we want to accept the offer. I'm sorry. Yes, and it is what, $7,000 cheaper. What did I say? No. Wait. No, I shouldn't. We shouldn't make them. I'm sure we should make those. We accept the offer. No. Oh my God. What am I thinking? I'm sorry. You guys answered it correctly, and then I incorrectly put it in. Should we accept the offer? No, we should make them. And it's $7,000 cheaper to do it. So we don't accept the offer. So they gave this offer, and the problem is, here's the problem: is that you can't avoid all of the fixed costs. So some of those fixed costs will still be there. For instance, maybe you have a warehouse. Okay, you close the factory down, but when those items get shipped to you, they have to go somewhere. So you're going to have some kind of a warehouse or something, and that fixed cost isn't going to go away. So if you already have a place that you have, a shipping department, that's still going to be there. Yeah, building's still going to be there and all that. So some of the fixed costs will hang around, even though you're not producing it there anymore. Okay, let's go to this. I don't know why I did this way. I usually, what am I saying? Okay, I screw up every handout, but this one I'm kind of surprised that I have it like that. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing for this one. They're making them, and they're gonna compare that to buying them. I'll be quiet for a minute and see if you guys can figure it out. come up with make or buy on this one. Yep. Yeah, this one we will accept the offer. Okay, do the make first. Oops, that's not how you spell cost. No, that's not how you spell it either. And our overhead, we're going to minus. Oh, wait a minute, let me do something here. Okay, that's a custom make. For the buy, we're going to avoid 160,000 of overhead. No direct labor. Basically, all the variable costs go to zero because 0 times anything is 0, but we still have to buy them. $10,000. $50 each. Okay, so 10,000. Oops. And the total cost if we buy them is 690,000. Is that right? Yeah. So should they accept the offer? Now this one is a yes. Why? It is, what is it? $60,000 cheaper to buy it. Okay. This one is, it's got a couple little tricky things to it. First of all, notice that the fixed overhead's down here. The first one isn't the fixed overhead. The fixed overhead is down at the bottom now. And the per unit cost, you can actually get these by, if you take 900,000 and divide it by 20,000, you get the unit cost of 40. These should be dollars. Dollars on the other ones? No, I don't. Never mind. Leave them like they are. Okay. we don't really need these unit costs. There's nothing wrong with having them there, but we don't really need them. But let's go ahead and do this one. Yeah, and you can cross those out or do whatever you want with those, I guess. Now on the next page, I think on the next one we do have to do something with those. I think you can also do these. And by the way, you could also do the same calculations by unit cost. It's a little bit trickier, but you can definitely do it. You know, if you wanted to do it in unit cost, you could. We're gonna get rid of these for now. I mean, to get the units, unit cost, you just divide everything by 20,000. If you needed that. All right, direct labor is 0. Too many zeros in there. It doesn't matter if you have too many zeros. It's not gonna. Okay, fixed overhead costs 40,000 will be avoided. Okay, make or buy. Yeah, you're gonna make them. It's cheaper. So should we accept the offer? No. Why is cheaper? It is what, $60,000 cheaper to make them? So $60,000 cheaper to make them. So that'd be 2 million. Oops. Okay. Now, wow. Oftentimes, this first, the first offer is kind of part of a negotiation. A lot of times there's a negotiation going on here. Okay, so you hear about how they're negotiating for a price on something or whatever. Well, this is what they're talking about is, oftentimes they'll come with a price. They'll say, nah, we can't do it at that. And so the natural thing is for someone else to, so whoever's making the offer says, okay, we'll make those for $95. You say, no, we're not going to do it. The natural reaction, they said, well, what would it take for you to let us make these? What would we have to do? What would we have to decrease the price or maybe $95? Maybe they knew it was a little high, but they also know there's going to be back and forth going on here. And what oftentimes will happen is they'll say a level that they have to make this worthwhile, because they're going to lay off people. It's going to be messy. It's going to be and they don't want to just do this. Theoretically, if it was 1 penny cheaper, you would buy from somebody else. But the reality is, unless you're going to get a significant, bump from this, it's not worth going through all the hassle and disrupting everything and going into uncertainty. Quite honestly, the COVID thing. Say, okay, well, yeah, they're all manufactured. We can't find anyone to ship it to you, but yeah, they're manufactured. You run into those kind of situations. So oftentimes there'll be a savings that they'll have to get before they'll actually go ahead and do this. That's what they're talking about at the bottom here. So how much additional cost savings would be needed to found an overall savings of 55,000? Okay, so we want to save 55,000. So how much would we have to cut out of this offer they have to come up with a savings of 55,000? Now remember, it's already $60,000 worse off for them to make it. So how much would we have to, in total dollars, how much would we have to come up with to make this worthwhile? And again, buying them right now from them would be $60,000 worse off. So what would it take to make the buy $55,000 better? How much in total? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that X is going to equal the offer. Okay, so X is going to be either by, I'm just going to put it into an equation. So X. Now, right now, X is $60,000 worse off. And we want it to be $55,000 plus. Okay, so X is the buy offer. So we're going to solve it for X. And we need a little more space here. So we're going to add 60,000 to each side. And so we'll end up with that was turned out to be 0. 60,000 minus 60,000 plus 60,000 is 0, and 60 plus this would be 115. So 115,000 would be the total amount that they would have to. I put this on as extra credit on the test, I think. Put that on there. So this would have to be the additional savings. Yeah, damn. What would it be per unit? Whoa, I got way too many zeros here. Oh, hold on. Get a little carried away there. Take that and divide it by. Like 20,000 items? Whatever that is. That's how much they have to take off their offer of each unit. So it would be whatever that is. When I get the per unit. 775. Okay, so if they wanted to get the actual price that they would have to sell it to them for would be what, 95? I should say new by offer. $95 minus minus 7.75. So they'd have to cut the price down to whatever that is. 87.25. You don't have to do this for the test. Maybe I'll give you more extra credit points if you do though. So this would have to be the new buy offer. The new buy offer would have to be, you'd say, well, if you can cut the price down to 87.25, we'll do it. We can't do it at 95, but 87.25, and you have yourself a deal. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. That's going to change things. Hold on. That was the evil me. Let's try this again. 575. Thank you for thank you for letting me for correcting that. So this would have to be 525 or 575, I should say. So would this be 89? Okay, does that look better? Let me check. I'm gonna check this again just to make sure. 115, and yeah, 115 is correct, obviously. I don't know why I'm flaky. Well, I'm flaky every day, but additionally flaky today. And then 95,000 minus 600. Okay, yeah. So this, I'm sorry. So this would be the new buy offer. So you'd say, well, if you can make them for $89.25, then you can do it. Okay. Oh, this one's a little kooky. We can actually do it in unit cost, but we could also just multiply these out by 5,000 to do it in total costs. Okay, so wait a minute. It's gonna look funny. Do my spacing. So unit cost times 5,000. So this will give us our total cost. All right. Okay. So this is our total cost here. So this would be the cost to make them, total cost. By the way, you could also just added all these up and multiplied at once. That would have probably been quicker. Maybe you guys did that already. I don't know. Okay, so this would be the make. And over here will be the buy. What do they tell us? Factory overhead cost of $4 per unit would be avoided if okay, so they give us this in per unit cost too. All right, well, we can work with that. Okay, so let's see here. This would mean the avoided avoidable fixed cost would be oops, I did it wrong. Uh 695,000 was 30,000? Use 30,000. And I gotta move this down a little. Okay, we still need to buy them. How do I do it up here? Buy. Okay. It's a column somewhere. Okay, well, let's put it here. Buy 5,000 times. Let's see the offer. Oh, here it is. $75 each. Ah. I don't like the way this looks. This is confusing. This is not actually part of this column. I'm gonna move this. I can probably do the spacing here somehow. That's okay. Who cares? That looks fine. Okay, so here we are buying it. So 30,000. Oops. 30,000 plus 375 is about 405,000. Okay. Make or buy. At least initially here. He's already left, haven't you? All right, I'll fill it in. Let's see. Say accept the offer? No. Why? It's $5,000 cheaper to make the units. What did you guys come up with for the overall savings? Yep. Very good. And my part of showing you how to be lazy. And again, this is, commonly you have a negotiation about what do we need to do to make you happy and blah blah. So this has to be $5,000. Is already $5,000 worse off. We want an overall savings of 40,000. And I have extra zeros on that one too. Okay, so this would be 5,000. All right, so this would be 45,000. Oops. So we'd have to have 45,000 taken out of the offer. If you want to put that in per unit, it would be. Well, you tell me what would it be per unit? What would we tell them if they said, "Well, what price would you buy it at?" So we have to have additional savings of $9. So we would take their current offer. Hey, the spacing is goofed up here. I don't know. What knucklehead made this thing, anyways? All right, so this would be so the buy offer of $75 minus $9 equals what, 66? You may want to check that. You guys already know that, but yeah. So you come back and say no, but if you can sell them to us for $66, we'll do it. We can't pay 75, but if you can knock it down to 66, we'll do it. Okay, let's stop here. And let's see. Well, actually, no, that's not gonna stop. Let's say be back at. What is it? 286, so 306. Excuse me. Okay. Well, let's go into number 8. It's a different kind of problem. Equipment replacement decision. So we could buy this new automated drill press. Yeah, here. Okay. And we would have cost savings of $50,000 a year. Buying this new drill press lasts for 5 years. And here we have the old drill press. So we're going to think about relevant costs. I just want to go back down to the beginning here. Oops. So fixed costs usually aren't relevant unless they change. We have sunk costs, we have opportunity costs. Both of these apply to, they can't apply to a decision here. So sunk costs are historical costs, what you paid for something in the past. And opportunity costs are what costs you could do, some of an alternative you could do. All right, so let's go back to our problem here. All right, so here's the old, here's the new equipment. I'm gonna mark this new, just so we know this is new. Okay. Did it again. Okay. And here's the old one down here. Okay, so let's go through some of these old costs and stuff. First of all, notice that the life is exactly the same in both of these, so it's apples to apples. We don't have to worry about the life of the machine being a different length of time. Is the old drill press, the original cost, is that relevant to a decision? We paid $360,000 for it. They don't say when, but we paid $360,000 for the old drill press. Is that relevant? You can put it in chat if you want. So, however many years ago we spent $360,000 for the original drill press. Is that relevant or not?
Not relevant.
Nope. Very good. No. Annoying capital letters. No. It's not relevant because there's nothing we can do to change that. Okay, now the current value, this is what we could sell it for today. Is that relevant? what we could sell it for today. Yes, very good. Yes, this is relevant because if we keep it, it's going to we're not going to get that money. But if we replace it, we can. So this is relevant. This is in today's dollars. Okay, so let's go through the cost of this thing. Okay, so the new drill press. So here's the new one. Okay, the new drill press. The purchase price is 230,000. Is that going to be a plus or a minus as far as our cash? If we buy something, what happens to our cash? Minus, yeah. So we're going to be out 230,000. Okay, annual cost savings. So this is going to cut our cost by $50,000 a year. And it's going to do that for the next 5 years. Oops. $250,000, plus or minus? Yep, good. So this will be a plus. Okay, if we buy the new machine, there's one more thing we could do, and what is it? So if we're buying the new machine, okay. Yes. Good. Okay. So we could sell the old one, right? So this sell the old drill press. And we can get what, $20,000 for the thing, plus or minus. Oops. So if we sell the old drill press, so is that going to add to our cash or subtract it? Yep. Very good. Add it. Oops. What did I do here? I did something wrong. Okay. So the total cost savings for this would be um, what's that? Plus 40,000. 230 minus 250 is 20. I shouldn't have done like that. This is the unhappy coincidence between the 250, the 30. I don't know why I did that. All right, so this would be a positive 40,000. And should it be purchased? Yes. Yes, it should be purchased. Company will be $40,000 better off over the next 5 years. We'll do corporation. Okay. And by the way, this is one of those things that a lot of times for people who aren't aware of, relevant costs, they look at this and say, well, wait a minute, we paid 360,000 for that machine and it still has 5 more years of life in it. We're not going to get rid of it, but actually you're going to be paying, to keep that. You're going to be losing a total of 40,000 over the next 5 years if you keep it. So that machine will become more costly than if you simply would have purchased a new one. I'll tell you a weird one. Well, kind of funny. I don't know if it's funny or not, but light bulbs now are a lot more efficient than they used to be. A light bulb that used to use 60 watts now uses, if you get an LED one that uses 6 or whatever it is. It's a crazy amount of difference in the electricity that's saved. And so when these kind of came out, I was like, okay, well, I'll wait until the lights burn out, right? I'll wait till the lights burn out, and then I'll replace them with these new efficient ones when they burn out. Notice the fault in that reasoning. And I mean, I know about this, but the idea was, okay, as they burn out, I'll replace them. The problem is, why not replace them right away? Because you're going to start saving money right away. Getting the new bulbs, and if it's a better deal that overall to have them in there. And so, literally, I kind of snapped out of it after I don't know a couple months of debating this or whatever. That wait a minute, waiting around for these to burn out is just wasting a lot of electricity that for bulbs you're going to end up replacing anyway. So, yeah, it did feel kind of awkward throwing out perfectly good light bulbs that are wildly inefficient. Okay, you know what? I think I'll give you this as homework. Number 9. Let's have number 9 as homework, and we'll do number 10 when we get back next time. So let me give you this as homework, and we'll go over it next class. So see if you can figure out this one, similar to the one above it. So number 9 will be homework, and we'll do this at the end. So here's the data. You can. The spacing isn't the best here, but Yeah, so do that for next class. By the way, if you are missing homework or tests or anything in the class, you can always turn those in and you'll get full credit. So if you didn't get the test in, don't worry about it. Don't think it's, you're going to get dinged on the grade or anything like that. You won't, but your grade's going to look bad until you get it in. So if you are missing anything, you can always turn it in right up to the end of the semester. Obviously not after the end of the semester, but right up to the end of the semester, you can turn it in and get full credit. So just because you missed a due date, don't think you can't get full credit for it. You can. And I would strongly encourage you to turn all that stuff in. Obviously, any grade is better than a zero. Even you get 50%, it's better than a zero. A lot better than a zero. So anyway, make sure that you big thing is turning in all the assignments and all the exams, and that's gonna be the best thing for your grade, obviously. But if you do miss a due date, it's not the end of the world at all. You can still turn it in, and when you turn it in, I'll put the grade in. Any questions? Okay, so let's see. So do number 9 is homework. And we come back, we'll finish up the last part of it, and might do a problem or two out of the book and do the practice exam. Okay, any questions? Great, I'll see you guys in a week.